Hey, it's Wildjosh from Geek-Cetera, and I'm joined by...
Kyle from Geek-Cetera, and this is Maclunkey, our Mandalorian spoiler without context.
And we're going to talk about The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 1 tonight. We're going to discuss it, and we're going to theorize about it, and we're going to get right into that.
Yes, we are. We're going to talk about geeky things.
Woohoo! All right. So, to start off, I thought we could discuss maybe some things that we like, some things that we maybe thought could have been a little better. And I can start with that, I guess. Did you have something?
She just likes attention.
So, right off the bat, I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked it a lot. I thought it was wonderful and really good. But there was a couple things where I was like, oh. The first thing off the bat is just the scene with the first scene that we get in that first little cantina where these guys are going up against the Mando for no particular reason, really. Just because he supposedly spilled their drink, but you can clearly see that the drink was spilled before he walked in. So, to me, that just didn't make much sense as to, like, it felt forced, I guess is the way I would say it. It just felt forced.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, here comes the Mandalorian. They're known to be some of the most feared people in the galaxy. Like, you don't mess with them. And the guy right away is like, no, I'm going to mess with you. Now, I get the idea they're trying to show him as this is a guy you don't want to mess with, and he's really tough and stuff. But I think there could have been smarter ways to do that.
Yeah, I think I think I didn't like it, but for different reasons for the reason you did. And that's mostly because I felt like the Mandalorian's character over the whole episode bounced around a lot. I'm sorry. Come on, kid. No, the character bounced around a lot. I didn't know who he was supposed to be, or who they wanted him to be. And he was very, almost like Clint Eastwood-like in that scene, but also without showing a lot of emotion. And we've seen Disney be able to convey emotion, especially with Finn before we knew he was Finn, before he took off his helmet. Even with Phasma to a degree, especially with Phasma, it was more the way she acted with her voice. I just felt like the Mandalorian, or Pedro Pascal, or maybe the director, didn't direct that scene enough for me to get the emotion that they wanted me to get.
I have a feeling that they did that very specifically for a reason. They're trying to get this idea of like what this Mandalorian is about, and maybe he's very cold and calculated, and why what we get at the end is maybe a little outside of the box for him. But so I don't know. I guess it's too early to say that. Maybe what we saw in this first episode was important to the development of the character.
I'm sorry, Josh. Yeah, I agree.
So, but yeah. So then after that, the other parts that I didn't, my wife picked up on his walk and said his walk doesn't come across as like he's supposed to be this Mando that no one wants to mess with, but his walk doesn't come across as like this big tough guy. It almost comes across a little robotic and like stiff.
Yeah, and that's part of like again, not just his walk, but the way he moves.
Yeah.
There was a scene, the scene on the ice where he's moving about to get that monster.
Yeah.
And to get it off. It just felt very stiff. The movements felt stiff. It didn't feel like an action scene. It felt like a forced action scene.
Yeah.
It was almost, I'm just going to say the negatives for me, it almost felt like a fan film and not a Disney-produced film or show.
I see what you're saying there, yeah. And then other than that, I thought the blurg scene where he's trying to learn how to ride the blurg was kind of a little goofy.
Yeah.
It didn't completely, but it almost reminded me of my least favorite Star Wars scene ever, which is when Anakin is riding on the engorged tick in Naboo. Yeah. And it didn't completely remind me of that, but it almost did. And I was like, oh, I was just like watching it with like, what is going on? Why are they doing this? And it was a short scene, and I was glad it was short, and it all worked out in the end. But it was like I was getting nervous for a minute that we were gonna go back to like this Ugnut and the Mandalorian rolling around in the grass or something. I don't know.
So, I really like the Ugnaught.
Yeah,
I
me
guess
too.
we're talking about what we don't like, but I like the Ugnaught by Nick Nolte. I like, he clearly has his own personality. I really like that.
Yeah.
But I did not like that scene. I felt it was out of place.
Yeah.
It made the Mandalorian. It made us feel something for him, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not that tough. It brought him out of that, and I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
I didn't have a reason to have good feelings about him yet. Not that he wasn't a good character, but I felt like that development wasn't there for that scene to be in there. Even though you're gonna kill me, aren't you? Even though he had the scene where it was the flashback with him as we think it's him as a child and his parents.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. It felt choppy and out of place.
And then the other thing that I thought was kind of funny, like my wife picked up on this again too, and was that the Ugnaught tells him that like he can't get to that camp unless he's on a blurg.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't get that.
IG-11, I mean, had no problem getting to the camp on the ground.
Yeah,
So,
and I didn't see any perilous reason why they needed the blurg. There was no explanation.
He was like, no, you need the blurg or you're not going to be able to get there. And then he gets there and IG-11 comes strolling into the camp like he didn't have a blurg. He got there okay. So like, I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to show like IG-88's really that much of a, like he doesn't need a blurg. But he got there somehow. So I don't know. That was a little, like, okay. Whatever.
In the camp? Why were those people defending?
I'm thinking so. They were defending, with the bounty.
It seemed like they were bad dudes.
Yeah, and they were Nikto, which Nikto are usually like criminals, like they hang around with the huts and stuff like that. Yeah. But I guess not always. Like in Resistance, Niku is a Nikto, and he's a cool dude. So I don't know. Yeah, but so I think that was basically it for the things. And it's not that I didn't like it; it didn't ruin the show in any way for me. It just I was like, they were concerning.
Yeah. The last thing for me that I didn't like, and I know we talked about this on the Discord, was just it didn't feel like, and I've done some reading on it now, but it didn't feel like the Mandalorian didn't like droids. And a lot of things that when he ran into IG-11 had more to do for me about like sharing the bounty and like somebody else is here and there's not enough credits to go around.
Right.
But he did make some disparaging remarks about droids that were separate from being a bounty hunter. Right? Yeah, you didn't like that either.
So I did watch it again today because I was home today with my son, and he does say in that scene when he's observing the IG droid walk into the camp, he says twice. Once he sighs and says, "Oh, bounty droid," and then at the end when the droid comes in and he shoots up the place, he says again like, "Ugh, droids." So like twice he says it, like he's irritated. And then later, after they clear out the place, he says, "You're not too bad for a droid."
Right. So he makes disparaging remarks about droids. Yeah. But I guess my sense was that he was going to be afraid of droids or not want anything to do with them.
Well, the way that he wouldn't even get in the I don't know, the taxi or whatever it was, the car, the speeder with the droid piloting it, like he wouldn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
But then he was willing to work with this one to clear the camp. So,
So I guess my thought was he was going to be afraid of them, and that's why or not want anything to do with them, and that's why I was confused. But it seems to me like it's just a more of, and based on what I'm reading, more of what's it called, like racism towards droids. So and my theory on that is that he's going to end up working with an IG droid. Or some sort of droid.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I guess this is not spoiler free. This is full of spoilers, so I'll make sure I put a spoiler alert. But he kills them at the end of the thing. So I know you feel like that there'll be more IG droids in this thing. I'm not so 100% sure. I know in the trailer it looked like we got all the scenes that we got of IG-11 in the trailer were in episode 1. Yeah. So I don't see any other scenes where there is an IG droid in the trailer that we didn't get in episode 1. Or episode 1. So
Taika Waititi, or however you say his name. Yeah. Like I think he's too good to waste. Yeah. I get the feeling that he's either gonna reprogram him or we're gonna see another IG droid.
Maybe.
That's just my feeling.
Yeah.
As soon as tomorrow, maybe.
Maybe. That's true. If I get this up in time. Now, so you want to switch over to theories? Or what we liked? What we liked.
Yeah.
I really liked the scene.
You gotta stop.
Are you afraid of the light? What is it?
You're killing me. I feel bad I'm ruining this shot. I thought we'd be okay. You okay now? Oh, that's right. I gotta stand up.
That's gonna be hard.
Go ahead. What did you like? Yeah. What did you like?
So I liked how that scene where they go into the enclave of the bounty hunters. They're not the bounty hunters, the Mandalorians, and that whole scene where it's almost like they're slowly trying to rebuild the Mandalorian Empire.
Yep.
To what its heyday. That was really cool.
All the Mandalorians was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree that Boba Fett was in there.
No, I don't know that. I just saw someone put that up, and you really had to brighten your contrast to be able to see anything because it was so dark in that scene.
Oh, that's true.
So someone boosted the contrast to be able to see that his colors were similar. The guy, there's a Mandalorian in the background in that scene that had similar colors to Boba Fett, and people were trying to say that Boba Fett was in that enclave.
Yeah.
Whether he is or not, I don't really know.
I feel like if Boba Fett was going to be in there, it'd be more than just a...
some rando in the background?
Yeah, random, or what do you call it? An Easter egg?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. But I did like all the Mandos. Alright, what do you think? I like the end.
Yeah,
The end was...
that was really cool.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
What do you got? What did you like? We liked that. We liked the end, didn't we? Yeah. I liked IG-11. I thought his humor was good.
Yep.
Although he acted more like a robot than other droids we'd seen.
Yeah. All right, we're going to talk about a few theories now that we had for The Mandalorian, episode 1. And Kyle, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. You were sleeping. Yeah, my theory is just that we're not done with the IG droids. We have there's only one credit for Taika Waititi as IG-11, but whether or not it's IG-11, which I'm a big fan of, like maybe having him repurposed by I was gonna call him Django, the Mandalorian. Or if he ends up getting together with IG-12, IG-13, all the brothers up to IG-87, and kills everyone at the end of the episode. Like, I just think there will be more IG droids.
Yeah, you could be right. Like, IMDb might not be showing us all what episodes they'll all be in because they don't know. So they're just putting what they know for sure.
Oh, I think they know. Well,
IMDb.
IMDb. Right?
Yeah, no, IMDb might not know.
Oh, good point. Good point.
So that could be the case.
Plus, IMDb had Wolverine in Avengers Endgame.
That's true. Yeah, he might have been in there somewhere, right? There's a lot of people that came through those portals. It was hard to keep track.
I guess so. It'll be like 10 years and someone will finally find the Wolverine Easter egg hiding behind Captain Marvel or something.
But, so my theory, maybe a little bit more far-fetched, but, so it's been brought out that the Dr. Persing, who is with the client, is wearing a patch on his shoulder, and the symbol on that patch is the same symbol that the clones wear on Kamino. When we see all the clones of Django lined up, they all have that exact same symbol on their shoulder. So it's giving us the idea that this doctor was a clone. So it made me wonder if the reason that he was so interested in this Yoda baby being kept alive for the bounty is because of some purpose of trying to clone it, make more, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I that's okay. I like your other theory a little bit more. Okay.
Well, they kind of tie in together because the reason that they would have to clone it is because they're super rare, this species. And why I believe they're super rare is a little bit more convoluted. Let's see if I can get it out straight. Now, relatively recently, Freddie Prinze Jr. talked about how he got information through Dave Filoni, who got it from George Lucas, that the Force balances itself out. So Anakin is seduced to the dark side. Padme has twins, balance, and all this stuff, right? So if we're to believe that the Force balances itself out, then maybe, this is my theory, is that this species, the Yoda species, we don't really know what it's called, is actually produced by the Force. Now, hear me out. We know that in comics, Palpatine is the one that manipulated the midichlorians to make Anakin be born. If we know that this small little baby Yoda is 50 years old, and we trace that back, it actually traces back to a very close time to when Anakin would have been, when Palpatine would have manipulated the midichlorians to make Anakin. So what if the Force's way of balancing Anakin is by producing another Yoda species? Now, so the theory is that the Yoda species does not produce naturally, that the Force produces it and it's born. That's my theory. It comes into existence through creation of the Force, and that's why they're so rare, and that's possibly why this Imperial remnant wants to clone them. Now, I feel like the story is going to change vastly, especially in the second episode, because I personally don't think the Mandalorian is going to turn in this baby Yoda. I think he's going to have an attachment to it. He's going to see himself in it because he was a baby. We talked about that in other theories where...
Well, I mean,
You're still here.
I got to throw my hat in the ring there because everybody was a baby.
Well, yes, but he was a baby that was rescued when he was in danger. I think he's going to see he's going to feel pity for this thing. This Yoda baby, and he's going to take it in, and that's where I think it's going to turn. We know that we see Bill Burr and we see other criminal guys in the trailer that are coming after the Mandalorian. I think this is the reason. Now he has this precious cargo that he's trying to protect. I think Cara Dune is going to help him because I think she's going to come out and be good because her past is a shock trooper for the Rebel Alliance. So I think she's going to be a good character, but I think we're going to have a bunch of bad characters that are coming after him. And I think possibly that Giancarlo Esposito's character, who is also another Imperial, could be the guy who hired IG-11 to go kill the baby Yoda. And I think he's going to be coming after this. So he's got this precious cargo. It seems like a lot of people want it. And he's going to be protecting it. And I think that's what we're going to get for most of the 8 episodes, is him protecting this thing. Now, whether this baby Yoda ends up being something more in the future, like we get it in Rise of Skywalker, that would be interesting.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we'll get that in Rise of Skywalker, but that definitely seems where it's going, right? I mean, this was the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah. And if you look at the release schedule, there's an episode... So this came out, the first episode that we're talking about came out on Tuesday, the 12th of November. And then the next one is coming out on Friday the 15th. So just a couple days later, and we've been told the rest will be coming out on Fridays, except for one. Comes out the day before the first showings of Rise of Skywalker. So That's interesting to me. Now, it could be that they don't want to overcrowd the space by having Rise of Skywalker and the Mandalorian come out too close to each other. But I think it's because something in that episode is going to tie into Rise of Skywalker. And then the last episode, which will be the following Friday of the Mandalorian first season, will be tied directly into the Rise of Skywalker.
So I just think that's a red herring. But before you get into that, what I was gonna say about your original theory about Yoda or the Yoda creature tying into the rest of the series and the way it's going, absolutely, because it was the first episode of the season. The end, the end act or the end scene typically shows you what the overall arc is going to be for the rest of the series or the season. So that definitely seems where it's going.
Right. Yeah.
That's definitely how they set it up.
Yeah. So.
But as far as tying it, I think it's more going to be a red herring at this point.
You don't think it's going to tie in at all to Rise of Skywalker?
No, because I think it's a little bit of a risk. A risk, just like with anything, just like with the and how Disney and Marvel treat the TV series. They might have a little bit of a tie-in, but you have to have watched The Mandalorian to be able to understand what's going on in Rise of Skywalker, to have that much of a significance might not have a great payoff.
Here's the thing, though. It would be genius when those people who are watching Rise of Skywalker realize that they don't have the full story because they didn't get Disney Plus. So now they have to go buy Disney Plus so that they can watch and get the full story. That would be genius marketing-wise to sell the product of Disney Plus.
Okay.
You agree?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, could you imagine you're in the theater and you go, "What's this? I don't know," and your friends go, "Oh, you had to watch The Mandalorian on Disney Plus." What are you gonna do when you get home from the theater?
Yeah.
You're gonna get Disney Plus so you can figure out what is that? Even if it's just a tiny little tie-in, right? Even if it's just something small, like in the background or something, you're gonna want to know what's going on. It's a way to sell the product.
Well, let's do this. Why don't we Google the reaction of people who did not watch Clone Wars and Rebels, who watched Solo and saw Maul alive, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
Did that have a great payoff?
Well, that's true. But people should have known Maul was alive. There was how many seasons of Clone Wars and Rebels?
He got cut in half and fell down.
Well, if you only saw that.
But I guess by that logic, Palpatine should not be alive.
Well, that's true. But, so I think that's all I have.
Yeah, that's it. And you were pretty good for that last
Yeah, you let us get that last one in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you have a theory?
Yeah, she likes the kid. She likes
the baby Yoda. Baby Yoda.
That was nice. They allow children to
I have to say, after seeing Last Jedi and the Porgs, I was like, how can they get something cuter than a Porg? And a baby Yoda apparently is cuter than a Porg, because that thing is awesome.
Yeah, have we seen any cute things from Rise of Skywalker? Like any teases there? No Ewok. There's no cuteness. Size of epic proportions.
Oh yes, we did. Babu Frick. He's pretty cute. Babu Frick's pretty cute. I hope I'm saying his name right. I think it is.
Yeah.
But all right. So I'm gonna put this video up. I'm gonna edit it very little. So sorry. I'm gonna apologize to you now.
Yeah, we apologize too.
But I wanted to get this video up before episode 2 goes live, which is tomorrow. And tonight, actually at 9 o'clock, my GameStop called me and said that I can pick up Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So I'm going to probably do that in like an hour. And then I'm going to probably stream some of that at some point, maybe tomorrow. I don't know if I'll play it tonight. But look for us to talk about season 1, episode 2 soon, and probably about Jedi Fallen Order. Are you picking Jedi Fallen Order up?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, I will be, and I'm going to stream some of that gameplay. So
I'll watch your streaming.
All right. Well.
Hey, really quick.
Yeah.
Sorry. Since we're talking about Disney Plus and The Mandalorian, any old series or movies that you got into really quick when Disney Plus dropped?
So I watched the Jeff Goldblum thing, episode 1 of that.
Same here.
And I watched Star Wars episode 1.
Ooh.
Phantom Menace. I watched that today with my son. And I watched some Muppet Babies. And I watched some Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also watched Makushla? What's it called?
Maclunkey?
Maclunkey.
Yeah, check out Maclunkey. We put a video up of that. Yeah, so that's a thing now, Maclunkey.
Yeah.
So
my series with Tailspin. My series was Tailspin. Got back into that immediately. Didn't even know it was on there. Saw it. Had to have it.
All right. It looks like it's time to put this baby to
It
bed.
is time to put this baby to bed.
So we will talk to you later. Like the video if you can. We'd love it. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you get all of our content when it releases. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Always.